You're listening to the Long Box Podcast. I'm Tyler Olson.
And this is the foot fetish episode.
It's not, actually. This is actually the Secret Wars Shortbox special. You done looking at your fucking eBay?
I'm sorry, I was looking at feet pics.
What were you doing exactly? Why don't you talk about what you were just looking at?
We're coming to the end of 2019,
Sure,
and
sure.
we've been through a lot of eras here on the podcast. There was the one where I wanted to be brutally murdered by tall women.
Is that an error you said?
An era.
An era? No,
This
I
year-
was going to say that's
this
not
year,
really an era. It's
this
still going
summer was the Catgirl era.
on. If you are friends with Matt on the Nintendo Switch, there's proof.
And we're going into the foot fetish era, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not joining you.
We're trying it out. We're trying this foot thing that everyone's
You're
into
saying
lately.
we when it's more just
It's
you.
we as
It's
a
not
whole
me.
show.
Just because I thought it was cool to go against B in that Pokemon game we talked about and her feet are out. There's nothing weird about that at all. Doesn't mean I'm joining you in the foot fetish land.
Yo, foot fetish gang.
Go buy some Scott Blair eBay art.
Yo, all my friends getting Scott Blair prints for Christmas.
All two of them. Each one gets a foot.
Whenever I think of that, I just think of the Carmella one where just like the space between the toes.
So if you guys don't follow Scott Blair on Instagram, he's actually really good.
Yeah.
But we thought he was like into feet or something because he just drew a lot of foot, like obvious foot fetish. Like it looks like it was out of a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
But in actuality,
The people just love the feet.
yeah, he's just a man of the people.
Yeah.
I think he drew like one and people started buying it, and then like he's just a foot fetish guy now or something.
Listen, I respect the hustle.
Hey, you gotta respect the hustle.
Welcome to the foot fetish era.
Like honestly, his art's like a mix between like Art Germ and Frank Cho.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, with more feet.
Mm.
There's a real soul to his art. We're not here to talk
baby.
about feet anymore. This is not what we're doing.
Yeah.
No, we're going from gross feet with secret warts to Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic's Secret Wars. No,
It worked.
that was okay.
It worked.
It was all right. It was a little bit of a stretch, but let's just put one foot in front of the other and get going. All right, you smell what I'm stepping in? Let's do this. Secret Wars. This is a 2015 book.
2015. I tweeted earlier today. I was like, man, I remember this in my early 20s.
Feels old, man.
Yeah. I was
This book was Marvel's prime while you were in your prime.
I had just graduated college and I was working at Midtown Comics Warehouse in Long Island City. And I remember Free Comic Book Day, we had early access to the issues. And they were like, yo, you gotta read Secret Wars #0. And I was like, fuck, okay. So I did. And my God, amazing.
Yeah, so this Secret Wars thing, I guess we'll talk about the circumstances leading up to Secret Wars because it was fucking big at the time. I think, what was it, 2 years before is when Hickman joined the Avengers? It was about 2 years of build on this.
I don't think
Maybe.
it was. I would think it was a lot longer than
Yeah,
that.
it might have been. Well, a couple years before that, Hickman was announced post his career-defining Fantastic Four run.
I'd say that's the correct term because
Yeah.
it put him on the map.
It also put Fantastic Four back on the map too.
Yeah.
After that, he was set to, was it Marvel Now? I think it was. He joined the Avengers, so he was a new writer on the Avengers post Bendis.
Bless.
Um,
Thank God.
And it was also split between Avengers and New Avengers, and they were very different books, but also kind of intertwined with each other.
Which is something Hickman did in Fantastic Four as well, with Fantastic Four and the FF.
Exactly, yeah. And through this, he weaved this story about the multiverse is dying, and there's these incursions where multiple universes are kind of coalescing together and destroying each other. And it was the Avengers and the Illuminati's attempts to stop this and really save their entire world, entire universe, Marvel universe. And it all culminated in the Secret Wars story. And this was a lot of build. I remember his New Avengers was probably my favorite book at the time. You know, we had Infinity at the time too. Um,
Infinity was weird because it was right in the middle,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a cross between this book too. I just read that for the first time last year.
It's who's on art on that one? Is it
Jim Chung.
Jim Chung? Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous book. I love the Black Order. They're
Yeah,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So that I mean that was a real good vehicle for the Black Order and Thanos kind of being reintroduced into the Marvel universe to set up what he would become in the cinematic universe. Um, but then we, years go by and we finally get Secret Wars, and this was a big fucking deal. This book, not only because it's an event book, uh, by Hickman, kind of finalizing his run on Avengers that has been years in the making, but also it said "fuck you" to the entire publishing line.
The entire every book ceased to exist, and it's sort of a there's a thing at
I
DC
think
while
there's
there
two books that only survived it.
it was Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl. No, it was Silver Surfer.
It might have been four then. I know it was like Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl. I think Silver Surfer survived because of delays. I
Yeah,
think Howard the Duck had a tie-in, but then went right back in, so there really was no delay.
but they started with a new number one immediately.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
But the basic thing was like so DC did this thing called DC Convergence when they moved from the East Coast to the West Coast, where they just took a 2 month break to just sort of pause on their books and come back.
And that break was like trying to find little diamonds and pieces of shit.
And but we did get the return of good Superman, Dilf Superman.
Sure, I think you also got I think was it Shaner's Shazam in that run that was really
Yes,
good, and I liked it was Rucka on uh Question again.
true. But what we got here was Marvel said 2 months. Nah, man, we're doing 6 straight months
Yeah,
of no new titles. Either we're doing miniseries or we're just doing the final arcs of books.
sure. Yep. It was a really big deal. I mean, for a good while, some books were dealing with the end of the world, and that was a theme leading into the end of the series.
The mark was not the tagline was officially last days. The
Yeah.
last days
Yep.
of the Ultimate Universe, last day of the Marvel Universe.
Was the Ultimate Universe still being published outside of Miles Morales?
Yes, I believe there was an Ultimate X-Men book
Oh,
and
with
there was an Ultimates book.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
But the Ultimates book was atrocious.
And the X Men one, I barely remember. All I remember was James.
I think Brian Wood and Nick Spencer were writing it,
Okay.
and it
Really?
wasn't good.
Okay.
Remember when Brian Wood came to Marvel and then made no impact at all?
The only impact he's making now is on Twitter. Um, let's no. So one of the other big things is that we'll get into the story of this going in, but with the using the title Secret Wars, it's a big deal because that is probably one of Marvel's probably their first big event book.
There,
Probably the
yeah.
first big superhero. No,
No, that was the first event, the first Marvel event.
Marvel event. Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say first big superhero event, but that's wrong.
Did Secret Wars come out before Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Don't think so.
It was Secret. The original Secret Wars. Let me explain for listeners who don't know. It was a mass marketing campaign to try and sell action figures. I know people read it. I will never read it. It seems like trash. It's where the Venom suit first got introduced. But other than that, isn't that where
Oh,
Cyclops
same year.
Same year.
Yeah, 80. Actually, Secret Wars is started in 84, whereas Crisis on Infinite Earths was 85.
Amazing.
I never knew that. I never knew that fact.
DC put out the better version.
Uh,
Actually, no. Marvel editorial back then was trash.
sure. Okay.
It was Jim Shooter.
Hey, you're a straight shooter on that one then. No, so so Secret Wars was a big deal at the time. So revitalizing that title is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it made sense for what this book was, whereas previously it was Beyonder, kind of making this battle world. We have this incursion event that causes Doctor Doom to recreate the universe in his image and thoughts and choices. But because of that, the line wide publishing scheme was that, hey, all these different worlds that now exist on this larger battle world, we're getting books there. We're
Oh yeah.
getting like, geez, what came out at the time that was really
The
good?
Kieran Gillen Shield book where they
Yeah,
had
that
to
was good.
defend the wall.
That was the Siege book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Siege.
there. I think Thor's was a thing at the time, which
Weird
was
World.
Real World is one of my favorites. That was when I first really got introduced to Mike Del Mundo,
Yeah.
which I think was Jason Aaron at the time too. Yeah, really good book. It's about is it no, it's
6 issues.
yeah, no, I'm trying to think of the hero's name.
Oh, I got no idea.
Yeah, I got it.
But no, we got Ultimate End, which was the last Ultimate comic book ever published. I heard it was atrocious.
Yeah,
I didn't read it.
I'm trying
There
to
was
think.
a Hulk book by Sam Humphrey, Planet Hulk.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
Inferno. They took a lot of E is for Extinction with Ramon Villalobos with Chris Burnham writing.
sure.
A lot of these books were really bad,
There's
but
some
there were a
gems in
lot
there,
of
yeah.
cool ideas there that I think they just didn't execute well.
That's fair.
They revisit a lot of big storylines, big events under the guise of new creative. It was kind of like it was a weird testing of ground that I don't think we'll ever get from Marvel again. I think it was the last big let's just make cool comics.
Also, I think it just. I don't think it'll happen again. It was too risky. I think it destroyed sales for a bit.
Remember when someone so when I worked at Midtown Comics runs the Marvel subscription service. So someone was calling me and asking me what titles to subscribe to, and I basically guessed where things were going and say, hey, subscribe to this, which one was a miniseries, which weren't miniseries. And Marvel called Midtown and yelled at them because someone was leaking information, and it was me just guessing.
You were just guessing.
Yes.
I'm trying to look. I'm looking at some of the other titles that were in this, and there are some good ones. Like I remember liking the Marvel Zombies one. It was a Cy Spurrier Elsa Bloodstone story.
Yes.
And the what was the other one that I actually kind of liked?
Was it the AI one with Ultron?
No, it was Joshua Williamson's Red Skull,
Yes.
which is Suicide Squad.
Wasn't that Riley Rossmo on art?
It was, yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like a lot of people that were doing those books at the time, like now they're almost household names.
And they're all at DC.
I mean, there's that too. But outside of the publishing line, this was the main crux of what was going on. And I gotta say, even though this book was delayed like crazy when it first came out, I think what was it? The new initiative had been going on already. Like the world had been remade, and we'd had this. We would still didn't have the last issue of this book.
So it was supposed to be from like it was. I think it was supposed to double ship, and it was supposed to go from May, when Free Comic Day was, until September, and then September came around, and they were like, "Fuck it, we got to put the new books out."
Yeah.
But this book was still delayed, and they added an extra issue or two on it as well because it was really supposed to be
I think it
7.
was 9 issues. The ninth was an extra,
Yeah,
but it was like an oversized one from what I remember. Yeah.
and it came out January 1st. I remember.
Oh yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Which
A whole like 5 months later.
yeah, which was kind of a bummer if you were reading month to month like we were at the time. But this is the first time I've read it as a whole in one sitting.
I agree.
And
I mean, I'm same. Wrong.
I agree that you did that.
Yeah.
No, and I gotta say it's really fucking good.
It holds up, but I think after reading it and taking what it's been 2015, it's been 4 years. We've been doing the show, just kind of like that same amount of time.
Sure, yeah,
It's weird to having done comics criticism for this long and then coming back to something like this, which was one of the things that got me back collecting
sure,
comics.
yeah.
Wow, this book's excellent.
You don't say that often, especially about superhero books.
Because this isn't a superhero book.
It's not. It's high fantasy.
It is Marvel fantasy. It is written like an HBO show. This is Game of Thrones with the Fantastic Four as the head of the family.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that really jumps out to me as I'm reading this is that it's really a Fantastic Four story.
It's the last Fantastic Four story.
Yeah, I think that they marketed that. I think towards the end of the campaign of this book, but it was almost jarring for me not seeing any Captain America, any Iron Man, any like Wolverine, like all the big characters at the time were not really in this book. It was all Fantastic Four characters, and Fantastic Four adjacent. And it's one of my favorite books of all time. It's crazy how important the Fantastic Four is to the Marvel Universe and should be to the Marvel Universe, and I think Hickman understands that.
And I think that's the interesting thing about his Avengers run that not a lot of people talk about is Fantastic Four and FF happened, and that story immediately continued from Fantastic Four into New Avengers.
Yep, because Reed was the crux of it. Yeah.
They had basically the same characters as well, with Namor, Black Panther. Like, you had all the big guys there.
Sure. And that even spills over into this book. And I think that the thing that I really liked most about this book is the main character of this book. It's Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Like, as much as this is a Fantastic Four story, it really is a Victor Von Doom story. And this only cements the fact that I think Doctor Doom is the best Marvel character of all time.
There are two great villains in comics. Only two. And they're very similar. It is Doctor Doom.
Sure.
And it is Lex Luthor.
Sure, yeah. There's something about it where I think it's because they are what people want to be. Does that make sense?
I disagree. They're not. They are everyone. Where they
minus the face disfigurement of Doctor Doom. Yeah.
They want to be the best thing in the world. They want to be the savior. But what they are selfish, angry people that are just jealous.
It's what I feel like an everyday person. What would happen to an everyday person if they were given superhero powers? We wouldn't become like Clark Kent's and Peter Parker's. I don't think. I think we're much too flawed for that, and that's why I think Doom is strangely a relatable character, and we get that through this. He has to create an entire universe with what he can think and manage, and it's flawed, and he's struggling to control it throughout this.
It is very strange that the first thing he does is try to pipe Reed's wife.
Yeah, I mean there is that. There's that strange fact that this is all almost a fantasy for him, where he gets to become Reed Richards, and Reed even touches on that towards the end of the book.
And here's a question that I didn't really assess when I was first reading this book. Doctor Strange lets it happen, and he's okay with it all along the way. Never addressed.
I think knowing the history, because I don't think I knew this at the time. No. Knowing the history that Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange have, I think there is a camaraderie there, although begrudgingly, and I think that Hickman kind of explores that pretty well here.
Yeah.
Because I think that particular, I think it's like maybe issue 3 or something, where it's Strange and Doom just talking to each other, doing like the old walk and talk, and Strange is just not mincing words with him at all. Where he's like, I could have been God too, and then Doom's like, you didn't want it. And I think that is the ego part of Doctor Strange that he's let go, but Doom has never let that part go of him. And I think that's where it's a nice difference between the two characters, because they're sort of similar in a way.
Oh, 100%. Doom is Strange if he never broke his hands and he couldn't do surgery anymore.
Yeah. Literally, even with the magic and stuff too.
No.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think one of the themes that I didn't quite catch on my first reading of it is, I think it's issue 1, where Doom kind of unveils this huge world that he's made, but the one thing that he couldn't do was fix his own face. It's the one thing he just didn't have the power to do. And at the end, we get Reed's interpretation of the world, and he managed to fix Doom's face, which really set up Doom for his story going forward after this, because this is when Invincible Iron Man kind of starts up.
Yeah.
Where Doom's kind of he redeems himself in a way. He becomes the more humble character and is out there to fix the things that he caused.
And that's the thing that's exciting about Doom, where we also got a similar story with Lex Luthor, with Superman stuff, where he joined the Justice League. But I think the thing about Doctor Doom that's different about Lex Luthor is I don't see Doctor Doom as a villain. I see Doctor Doom as an anti-hero. Like, sure. He's akin to Venom in a way, where he...
Mark Bouchard just entered the chat.
He is just... His biggest fault is narcissism.
Sure. His biggest fault is being too sure of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I agree. I don't think Doom is a villain as much as the current Fantastic Four series would lead you to believe.
I refuse to read that.
Doom is good though. You should read Doctor Doom. It's a pretty damn good book.
It's LaRocca.
I know, and I know he's kind of a shithead.
I'm kind of waiting to. I'm waiting for the trade.
It's the Darth Vader thing though, when he doesn't have to draw a face constantly.
Really? That's good, LaRocca.
I know. Yeah, yeah.
Is it colored better than X-Men was?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a selling point.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about it after the show, but I love Doctor Doom as a character. So, through this, I mean, the whole story is this is the humbling of Doom. And it really was kind of wholesome at the end, in a weird way. It felt like the swan song to the Fantastic Four, and it really was at the time, too, because nothing was solicited. We were told, like, this is the end of the Fantastic Four. Fox had the property as the Fan Four Stick failed.
Yeah.
The property as a whole was in the shitter, and Inhumans were being positioned as, the next big thing to replace the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And so I think from a meta standpoint, we knew they were going away for a while.
It was such a strange era because, like, a lot of the people, like the big people at the time, this was the last thing they did. It was the last Hickman, last Remender, last Gillen.
Yeah.
And I think Iron Man was the last Bendis story. Like,
sure.
A lot of the people, this was everyone's sort of swan song era. And it's kind of, it was good. Like everything about it worked. It clicked on every level. There's nothing in here from art to storytelling to character development.
Oh, we should talk about the art, because Esad Ribic is
an absolute monster.
Yeah, he's one of the best things Marvel has going for them right now.
Yeah.
It's ever since I read issue 1 of Thor: God of Thunder, I was like, holy fucking shit, who is this guy? And relatively quick, he was given this. Well, I don't know if he was chosen or Hickman chose him or he was given it, but he's given the biggest event book probably that they've done since, especially with marketing, since like Secret Invasion, I would say.
Yeah.
And then before Secret Invasion was Civil War, so this is a big deal. And not to say this guy was new, but he kind of was in terms of the Marvel Universe.
Well, he was in. I know he got his big break around the same time a lot of popular people were at the time, which was he cut his teeth in the Ultimate Universe.
Sure, yeah.
And he was one of those people around the time, like you saw the people really getting a hang of their stuff there, was like Leinil Yu, Mark Brooks, Stuart Immonen, like a lot of the big people now broke in during the Ultimate books, but this was like the first guy to nail it. Because even we've talked about Secret Invasion before, like Leinil Yu is great.
I agree.
Secret Invasion doesn't really age well in terms of art.
I still really love Secret Invasion.
I love it. I don't think it's
in terms of the art though.
I don't think it's the best he's done.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I think he has done better work before. And not to talk about you, but some of the most iconic panels that I could think of that come to mind are from Secret Invasion. Honestly, Norman Osborn with that smoking gun. Big shit. But Esad Ribic is fantastic. It's, if you've never seen Ribic's art, the easiest way I could describe it, and I think it's how everyone describes it, but it's that the metal van art that you would see on the side of a heavy metal band's van or something. But that's what it was in Thor: God of Thunder, but it was different here. It really ups the fantasy factor and the sci-fi factor of it too.
The whole world is built off of Yggdrasil. Like, that's insane. Like,
yeah.
But the thing about this is, like, it's very heavy metal art.
Sure.
But in terms of tone, every Marvel character is drawn perfectly. Even the Marvel zombies don't.
Oh, dude, he draws some great zombies.
Some great zombies, some great Annihilation Horde. I think my one gripe with the art was I didn't realize Apocalypse was Apocalypse until the last page, because I thought it was another Thanos.
He did have ears.
It confused me.
Yeah, the ears threw me off, or the lack thereof. Maybe Apocalypse doesn't have ears, and I just never realized that. But he was a little singular there in the shape of his head. I mean, one thing that he manages to do in this, and I think this is a credit to Hickman as well, but like the idea of Battle World is a culmination of all the tasty bits of the Marvel Universe. Yeah. It's a love letter to the Marvel Universe in a way. You have an Annihilation Wave. You have Marvel Zombies. You have the Ultimate Universe. What else was touched on here? The Thor mythos, along with the Fantastic Four mythos.
You got the Hulks, every Hulk ever.
A whole bunch of X-Men shit going on.
Yeah,
Which leads me to my probably the weakest part of this book.
Camelot.
Camelot's in there, yeah.
Yo, his Madeline Pryor, that Goblin Queen with that underboob.
No feet in that one though.
Needs more toes.
Gross. I hope you never say that again. But the one gripe I had with this is I feel like there's this dangling plot, and I think I see a reason for it. But Cyclops with the Phoenix egg?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big deal that never gets touched upon. And I think I know the point of it is. The point of it is to show how strong Doom is, that he could just kill the Phoenix instantly.
Well, you got to think of it this way in terms of editorial wise, but like Bendis kind of dropped all the X-Men stuff, was like, fuck it, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then after
Wasn't
that,
there a plan for this?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And then after that, he got killed off almost immediately.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was a weird bit reading that, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this plot point.
And I don't know, it's weird to see him writing Cyclops now.
Oh, I think it was really fascinating reading this after reading House of X.
With Mr. Sinister as well.
Yeah, yeah. That whole Bar Sinister is apparently in the main universe now.
Yeah.
Like, that exists. Which is a nice kind of dangle on from... I was going to say dingleberry from...
I'd love to know what era this takes place in the timeline of the X-Men.
Oh, I think Secret War is always outside of everything.
But it can't be, because there's...
Well,
this is why I don't like time travel stuff.
It's not... I mean, I think it's just that it goes up until... It's just editorial timeline.
It doesn't make any sense.
Full stop. Secret Wars. Big Bang. Start again.
Okay.
That's all.
You just have to turn my brain off.
It's not that hard. You have real trouble with continuity.
It doesn't make sense to me.
You've maintained a whole bunch of crises in your head.
Yes. Marvel stuff doesn't make sense. Because in DC, people actually grow up in age. Marvel, it stopped in the 90s. People stopped aging in the 90s.
I guess.
Except for teenagers. They somehow got older, but Cyclops still maintained late 20s, early 30s.
Is Richard Rider the only one to actually grow up?
I don't know. It's very strange.
Him and Speedball.
The New Warriors grew up.
Speedball grew up and then de-aged again without any kind of...
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Remember when Squirrel Girl really wanted to pipe out Speedball, and then he became Pendants, and she was like, yo, what the fuck?
Didn't her and Wolverine fuck?
Yes.
That's canon.
That is canon.
Yeah.
Which is strange because I'm pretty sure she's a teenager.
Well, I don't think she was at that time.
Yeah.
Which again, I see your point now.
There we go.
Certain characters are a little confusing. No, but I think what else jumps out to you in the story? I want to ask.
The pacing.
Sure.
I brought it up before the show, but it's paced like an HBO show.
Like Watchmen.
That's exactly what I thought about.
You haven't even watched it.
No, but in terms of like the comic.
Okay, fair.
Like the mystery of everything and how everything's paced. It was weird for me to not have graphics and tables and shit in this.
You were missing out on the Hickman stuff, yeah.
But what I liked about this is it does not read like a Bendis event. It doesn't read like an MCU movie. Like it's not 3 hours of action-packed nonsense. It is nuanced, layered, and it feels like you don't know what's going to happen at all. Yeah, anything could happen.
Because there's a lot of spinning gears. You know, T'Challa has an Infinity Gauntlet. Maximus is leading this revolt going down.
The Thing is the wall.
Hey, we got to build it.
Jesus Christ.
Got to build that thing. Hashtag build that thing. But yeah, pacing I think is a big part of it. In terms of the art style, did you realize there's not one double page spread in this?
Really?
That was really interesting for me, especially coming from an event book. Like there were pages where like I looked at it and I could have sworn like this looks like half of a double page spread, but it obviously isn't because I'm flipping through a page.
That is strange. Now that I think about it, and it's weird because this is like this is the first event in a post Ultimates Marvel that I feel can be read over and over again. You'll find new things where it doesn't feel like a movie. Like, because everything Marvel was so desperate to be movie style comics and try to.
Well, I see what you mean. Like, this cannot be done in a movie because of the history that's behind it.
Yeah,
this is a specifically comic book thing to be made.
I would love for this to be a Disney Plus show.
Good luck.
It would never be.
No budget could contain this.
Yeah.
Although with the apparent stat that Disney Plus subscribers are coming in 1 million a day, subscribers a day. Maybe they do have the budget for it. Who knows?
I need to give in and try it, but
I gotta log it if you want to mooch.
I know, but I don't want to keep mooching.
Yeah, you should stop mooching.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be a mooch.
No, it's really good. Shit.
I will say, I fucking hate Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, her storyline on this makes no sense. My other issue was that, like, where did her story happen?
I don't even know.
I don't remember a tie-in for Sinister.
No. I don't remember a tie-in for Namor or Black Panther as well.
Which is fine, because I think their story is told in this.
Because Star-Lord had a tie-in.
With Kitty, yeah.
Yeah, like, a bunch of them had tie-ins. The tie-ins weren't necessary to this. They're just, like... One of the things I liked about this is, like... When you read an X-Men event...
Sure.
You have to read every single book to make sense.
Or Civil War.
Or Absolute Carnage right now does that.
Oh, yeah, I'm so checked out on that. Yeah.
Where this is basically every side book is sort of like...
supplemental.
Yeah, there we go.
Instead of necessary.
Exactly. Wasn't there a map in this too?
Oh, yeah, there was a Battle World map at the beginning. I spent probably the same amount of time reading that Battle World map as I did reading an issue of this book. There's some... Oh, I just opened right to it. Look at that. There's some great stuff in here, like New Xandar, the Shield. Speaking of Shield, of course, Hickman puts Nostradamus and Nikola Tesla in this, which I forgot they were in this. I'm like, oh, that's a callback to your Shield book. Is it done?
It finally came out.
Okay.
That should be a short box because I've never read it.
It's good.
It's
very interesting.
I've never finished a Dustin Weaver book before. It'll be my very first.
Dustin Weaver's good.
I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is.
Shield and then Secret Warriors. Man, Hickman's got some good Marvel work.
He did something else too. His Ultimate run is great. Also has Ribic on it.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Huh.
Didn't like that.
Too high? Too high for you?
Too high.
All right, any last thoughts for this before we wrap up?
How much is this book? This is $34.99.
We're here with money talks.
It is
Matt
worth
Murphy.
every penny. Black Friday is this weekend. Secret Wars should be either something you gift to someone or you buy for yourself, because this is a necessary Marvel read, especially when you're a time where everyone is super burnt out by the company.
Sure, and I think it's a look back into when Fantastic Four was good.
True, because
Or you can just read Chip's stuff. That was good.
ooh,
Oh, he's doing it again. He's doing them again too. Ooh, I'm excited.
and Dodson's on art.
I know. Oh, I'm excited for that one. I really like Secret Wars, mostly because first of all, the covers, the fucking Alex Ross covers. Like I know people can love or hate Alex Ross. For people who hate him, what the fuck are you doing?
You hated him up until like the last few years.
My eyes are open, Matt. I think Marvel's did it. There's a bit of Marvel's and Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
That really helped, because I just saw him as like a cheesecake cover artist, and also like his Immortal Hulk stuff has been really good.
You know what it was? It was that Avengers cover run. That looked like shit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But then like he's doing like the Captain America cover he's doing right now. Fucking top of his game again.
I need to catch up on Captain America. That book's really, really fun.
U.S. agents in it.
Ooh.
And he's a real fucking dick. So check that out. So where can people find us on the internet and listen to more of our Frozen episodes? Because apparently you guys like that.
You can find us at longboxpodcast.com. You can find us at longboxpodcast on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to listen to more episodes of the show, wherever you're listening to right now, there you go. It's right there. You're already halfway there.
And if you're listening to this episode because you listened to the Frozen show or the Pokemon show, and you're like, oh, these guys do comic book talk too? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mostly that.
Subscribe, rate, review, tell your friends, comment, retweet, join our Discord, which no one really talks in there anymore, I'm gonna be honest.
It's
like a barren wasteland. It's like Marvel Zombies.
I was gonna go with the place where Old Man Logan's from. I think it's just
The
Wasteland.
Wasteland.
Yeah, that's you already said it.
I
So.
was gonna say it's like my sex life. Pretty barren.
Dry.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter.
Follow me at Matthew Peel Murphy on Instagram and Twitter.
And we'll see you next week for what do you call one of them normal shows?
Damn, it's gonna be weird because we haven't done a normal show in like a few weeks. So like, there's like a whole back catalog of books.
You guys behind, but I plan on having nobody calling in for help on Friday while I'm at work. So
You're at work on Friday?
I'm working from home.
Jesus, that sucks.
I'm working from.
It's Black Friday.
It's not a holiday, man.
Yes, it is. It's
not.
more important than Thanksgiving.
I agree, but it's not a holiday. I'll be in Buffalo working from my girlfriend's grandma's house.
That's depressing.
Yeah.
See, I'll be home, hungover as fuck, buying whatever the fuck I want.
That you on Black Friday is
Dangerous.
Anxiety-inducing.
Just wait until I'm drunk at 12 o'clock on Thanksgiving. I'm back on Target.com, feuding with the bots, buying more inappropriate video games.
Just don't buy a Vajankle. That's all I ask.
Ooh, that reminds me, I almost said something very inappropriate on the show, but I will be looking into if they have a sale later on.
Okay.
And no, it is not fleshlight.com.
All right. If you see any good TV deals, let me know.
Amazon, 60-inch, I think it's under 100. But it's an Amazon
I don't care about
TV.
the size. It's an Amazon? No, I don't care about the size. I want to know about quality.
You want to get this
I
4K?
want to get a sound bar. I could use a nice sound bar. Or some Haunted Mansion gear.
No.
Fucking nerd. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Goodbye.